What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman here for Stokastic.com, back again with the NFL DFS contenders for Sunday Night Football, Bengals and Ravens. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comments section who are your favorite plays for tonight's game. And finally, please go check out Prize Picks. There is a link in the description of the video. Click it, head on over, make a deposit. They're going to match that deposit with up to $100. You do not need an optimizer here. All we're talking about is player props, over-unders across a wealth of different sporting options. You can combine them too if you want. Hit 5 on one card, net up to 10x your entry fee. Now, we're going to round out the bottom of my top 10 with Demarcus Robinson, Devin Duvernay, Isaiah Likely, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, all on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, we've got T. Higgins. He is 8,200, projected for 16.5. The Bengals, 3.5-point dogs in this one in Baltimore, 47.5-point total. There's a very legitimate ceiling here on Higgins. 24% likelihood to go for more than 30 fantasy points. Another 34% chance, however, that he does go under 10. So a little boom busty here, but I'm totally okay with that. He's close to a coin flip play. 14% of the time, T. Higgins is your optimal captain. I think that is very appealing tonight. 34% at the flex. That gets him to 48%. So slightly higher than Joe Mixon, very slightly higher than Jamar Chase as well. Clearly, you're going to want to go to some Bengals pass catchers, but for right now, 8,200 for Higgins looks pretty good. Switching sides in this one, we're going to go to Baltimore now for number 4, J.K. Dobbins, 7K, projected for 14 fantasy points. Baltimore, obviously the favorites in this one with that 47-point total. This isn't really like a monstrous ceiling spot, which concerns me a little bit, but it just seems very likely to see him in a flex position. 6% chance to go for more than 30, 5% chance to be the optimal captain. You kind of know exactly what you need here. You need Dobbins to get a bunch of touchdowns that Lamar chooses not to have, plus a 43% chance to be optimal at the flex. And that's what we're getting here. That's why Dobbins is in at 4. But don't freak out and be like, J.K. Dobbins is 4 over Joe Mixon or something along those lines. There's no separation between Dobbins, Higgins, and Mixon. 49, 48, 47. Those are rounding errors. That's 1/10 of a point either way. Consider that to be a group of 3 guys that are basically interchangeable. If you want to add Jamar Chase to that, I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world, but I can't deny this. Dobbins looks really good this week. First person to cross the coin flip threshold is Joe Burrow, number 3, 10,600, projected for 20 fantasy points. Obviously slight dogs, but we should expect some scoring, and we know he's got the weapons, that's for sure. 26% chance that Burrow scores more than 30. Just a 9% chance he's your optimal captain. Nothing too crazy there. He's just got too many different weapons. The expectation is that one of them ends up passing Burrow and scoring. 43% of the time, however, he is optimal at the flex. Honestly, you can kind of lump Burrow in with Dobbins, Higgins, and Mixon. This is a very comparable tier. You got to pay a little bit more for Burrow, but the floor is certainly going to be a little bit higher. Just be aware of your lineup construction for it, because if you're going to Burrow, you're going to need to pay down somewhere. This guy isn't a pay down option. He is a step up in tier. 9,600 for Mark Andrews puts him in at number 2 with 63% optimal odds. That's 11% higher than Joe Burrow. Mark Andrews looks exceptional in this spot. Projected for 20.7. Clearly, Baltimore the favorites. A 36% chance that Andrews goes for more than 30 fantasy points. That is a monstrous number, and I don't think it's all that crazy. 18% chance Mark Andrews is your optimal captain. Didn't expect to see that number be so high, but he also gets there at 44% of the time at the flex because he's a sub 10K option. Is there a little bit of a floor here? Yeah, for sure. 7% of the time he's scoring less than 10 points, but I can't overstate this enough. Like, that jump from Burrow to Andrews, that 11%, you don't normally see that for this type of player at the 2 spot. Maybe to get all the way to 1, but he still couldn't get to 1. We obviously know that Lamar Jackson is number 1, but for Mark Andrews to get to 63%, he is an incredible play for tonight. Now, before we get to that number one contender, one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comments who you like, and then sign up at Prize Picks using the link in the description. Way closer than I ever expected this to be, but that's what happens when Lamar Jackson is 12,200 on a showdown slate, projected for 25 fantasy points. I don't think I need to explain too much here. Lamar Jackson, really good at football, incredible from a fantasy perspective because of his threat on the ground, likely to run for 100 yards sometimes, which is kind of nuts. 63% of the time, Lamar Jackson's going to score more than 30. You need him to do that in order to be anything, to be worthwhile today. You probably need those 30 fantasy points, because 12,200, that's no joke of a price tag. 19% chance to be the optimal captain, seems about right, due to the gigantic running threat. 48% chance that he's optimal at the flex. For him to still get into the flex close to a coin flip, even at 12-2, lets you know how big the ceiling is for Lamar. So while it is close between him and between him and Andrews, Lamar Jackson is your number one contender. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NFL DFS contenders on DraftKings for Sunday Night Football, Bengals and Ravens. Now, there's a FanDuel version of this video around here somewhere, so check it out. Good luck today, everybody. Win some money. We're back again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.